Back with the parts and pieces of the hurry up, fix this car because you gotta go to work routine. New fan comes from VDO. Exact replica. The only thing that has to be done, side panels right here have to be removed. I don't know if you can see it, but they are, nope, you can't. But they're marked left side and right side. They simply slide onto these notches in the radiator right here. So be aware of that. Otherwise, you'll be in for some pain. Once you break the tabs, that is. Carefully insert new radiator. Well, before you do that, slide and what you discover is it slides into place. Without too much of an issue. Reinstall the bolts. Tighten down securely. You don't have to go crazy on the torque. Just get it snug. That's on, that's on. Radiator overflows back in place. Anyone who's been in the automotive business knows how difficult it can be between the crooks and the shysters out there doing repair and the well-meaning people with limited knowledge or, you know, just the, my gosh, the people that know everything when it comes to automotive stuff. I worked at one of the highest grossing AutoZone stores here in Nashville for, well, AutoZone in particular for 5 years. I actually worked at 2 locations here in Nashville. Both of them were relatively high volume stores, and boy, do I have some stories to tell. In fact, I will share one with you today. While I finish up this Nissan Maxima for my baby and me. So, I'm working at AutoZone. And I'm doing this kind of in defense of people that work at parts stores. Now, there is a perception among the general public that does this type of work on their own that there are absolutes in things mechanical. That things absolutely have to be fixed, that there are no variables to consider. So I'm at work one day. Guy walks in. I'm the next available sales agent. If you ever wonder why I got so many red shirts, this is why. And he asked me, so I say, yes sir, what can I get for you? He says, I'm working on a 64 Chevrolet Malibu. I said, okay. So I pulled up 64 Malibu. I said, what are you looking for? I said, what size engine? He said, 350. And I looked at the guy and I said, has this engine been changed? He said, no. He said, it's a 350. I said, okay. I said, let me get this right. You've got a 64 Chevrolet Malibu. Yes, some of you already know where I'm going. He said, yeah, that's what I said, 64 Chevrolet Malibu. He said, okay. He said, but it's got a 350 in it. I said, has this engine been changed? He said, look, man, I need an oil pan gasket. I said, okay, what size engine? He said, it says 350. Now I looked at the man and I said, are you sure? He said, expletive deleted. Yes, I'm sure. I need an oil pan gasket for a 350. He said a 64 Chevrolet Malibu. And I was about to ask him another question. And he said, just give me the oil pan gasket for that. And I asked him one more time, are you sure this is a 350? He said, look, you ain't nothing but a parts man. Give me the gasket. So I looked at the bed, I said, okay. So I walked back to the, back, got the part that he asked for. He got his oil pan gasket for the 350 Chevrolet. Rang it up, gave him the part. And hour or two later, he came back. He was so upset that he said, no, I don't want him to help me. He don't know what the F he talking about. I'm trying to keep this PG. So I said, okay. So I let the boss handle it. So the boss went through some machinations on the computer and gave him another Felpro oil pan gasket for the same car. 64 Chevrolet Malibu with a 350. I mean, you car guys are catching on. Came back about 30, 40 minutes later. Told my boss, you gave me the wrong part. They got back in the computer. Looked up again. This went on all day. Them exchanging parts and everything else till finally he brought in the oil pan. Now, mind you, back then AutoZone had a policy. You could return any part, even if it was open, even if it was installed. And they would warranty it out. So they had thrown away literally 3 or 4 good oil pan gaskets from Felpro. And if you've ever seen a Felpro box, it says no refund once the box has been opened. So my boss told him that this got to stop. As I walked past in his computer station where the boss was, I leaned in after looking at the oil pan and I said to the boss, I said, don't look up 350, look up a 283, 327, 1964. He looked it up, pulled up the picture, and the guy hollered, that's it, that's the one I've been needing all the time. And so he said, finally, they had wasted the entire day arguing with the counter person, or me in their initial visit to the store, about the part that they needed, simply because I asked a question, had the engine been changed? Yeah, anybody who knows the difference in the oil pans for the 64 model small block and the later model 350. And anybody who's done this knows 350 didn't come in the 64 Malibu. There you go. So the guy hollered, you don't know, earlier in the day what he said. I still laugh to this day. And I still remember it. You don't know it, you just a parts man. All I can say is every day after that, when they came in for parts, they learned very quickly. I knew what I was talking about. And I became the go-to person when it came to a lot of the older vehicles that many of the customers had working out of that store. But it goes to the level of disrespect that some people will garner for people in this business. His assertion that I was just a parts man without knowing anything about me, had no idea about the depth of knowledge that I had about anything. But because he was the mechanic of record for this guy who owned this 64 Malibu, he then therefore knew everything. And ran into that a lot, dealing with customers and dealing with mechanics and shade tree mechanics as well. So my approach is a little bit different when I come to you at the parts counter, or you guys and you gals that are working at the parts counters, parts stores right now. I'll come to you with a lot of respect for what you do. And I try to give you the best information that I can when I approach the counter, because I do know the amount of knowledge that you have, even if it's just with the computer that you have in front of you. So, in my instance, I was a bit of an anomaly because I actually knew about this stuff. Brought knowledge and experience to the parts counter to serve our customers better. Many of them had to learn that very fast. Excuse me. Yeah, it's that hot out here. And I gotta go chase airplanes out there. So I got so many tales about being at that parts store and dealing with these people. In the future, I'll share some more with you. But right now, I think we are done. Radiator clamps done. Up. I got one more screw. That's in. That's in. All the tools are done except for that box cutter right there. Here's a footnote. Remember I told you in dealing with an older car like this, my recommendation is to just go ahead and buy the warranted parts, because that way you only buy them once. Potentially they will fail again, or can fail again. Just about anything can happen. Now, I'm not against anybody going and hanging out in pull apart, LKQ pick apart, any of those places. In fact, I encourage it if you have the time, and that is the key. If you have the time. If you don't have the time, better use just to buy the parts from the parts store. That way you have some redress in the event something happens. Cue this back up to clear this code. Okay, so go back to the menu now that I've gotten it in the correct spot. Erase the code. You want to erase the code? Absolutely. Key on, engine off. everybody's talking to each other, and just like that, code is gone. No code remaining. Hear that? Thing is, you don't.
Turn the fan on.
It is.
I did a good job, didn't I?
She did a good job, she says.
I did.
Yeah, she did.
I fixed the car.
Now that's what they should sound like. There you got it. A success. And a twofer. And it's 1:15. I got enough time to choke down a sandwich, shower. Nah, I'm gonna just shower, change, and head to the other job. But there was my morning task, my morning challenge here at the No Bucks Garage. So next time, we're gonna get back onto the S10, bring you guys some more content on that. Tell you some things that might help you with the workflow that I'm using for right now. But now let me get this garage cleared out, get this car backed up, and I'm out of here. We will see you good people next time. Take care.